Hold on. Do you believe obsessive compulsive disorder is only made out of little rituals like this? Huh. You might need to learn more about it. And that's what we're going to talk about. Today we're going to talk about obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, and I brought in my DSM-5. So we follow exactly the criteria that it needs to be followed in order for you or somebody else to be qualified as having OCD. Make sure you understand, like I said on my other video, that you cannot diagnose a person with OCD if you don't hold a license to do that. So make sure that either a medical professional is diagnosing you with OCD or your therapist who is licensed or your psychiatrist. So just making sure you understand that, because people love saying, oh, this person is OCD, this other person is OCD, I'm OCD, and they don't understand what they're talking about and they don't have the diagnosis. So just make sure that you're not saying that if you don't hold a diagnosis that was given to you by a medical professional or a licensed mental health therapist. Okay, so let's see what are the criteria for you to meet in order for you to have obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. You need to have the presence of obsessions or compulsions. So what are obsessions? Obsessions are things that you think about, okay? So you think about that if you don't close and open your door 20 times, that somebody's gonna die. Or if you don't wash your hands a certain way, that also something harmful is gonna happen. So those are obsessions. Also, there are even more serious obsessions that you might harm somebody, or that you won't be able to control yourself in that aspect. Or obsessions about counting things, ordering things. Those are also obsessions. So if you don't do those things in your mind, something harmful is going to happen to you or the people that you love. Now, the compulsions are actually the behavior behind your obsessions. So the actual washing of the hands, the actual closing and opening the knobs, the actual counting tiles, the actual making sure things are in a certain order. So those are compulsions. So for you to have OCD or to be diagnosed with OCD, you have to have compulsions, obsessions, the combination of those two, or either one or the other, okay? Also, it's important for you to understand that those obsessions or those compulsions, they need to last more than an hour. So it's not that because you close your door 2 times that you have OCD. No, if that behavior is impairing you to go to work or to have a social life or to go to school, those behaviors then become a compulsion, which means that they're part of your OCD and they need to last for more than an hour. So make sure you understand that. There is a treatment for OCD. So this is not a personality. I'm not talking about the personality disorder. I'm just talking about the anxiety aspect of OCD, which means that you can be treated with therapy, with CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy. What is cognitive behavior therapy? Cognitive behavior therapy with exposure, which means that you're going to be exposed to your fear or to your compulsion, and little by little your therapist is going to help you for you to understand that when you don't do that certain compulsion, that nothing really happens. So that's a very, very effective technique. And also in combination with medication, sometimes it is important to take medication with therapy. Now, what happens with people with OCD is that they have a very, very, very high level of anxiety. And in order for them to suppress their anxiety, they do those little rituals, or they have obsessive thoughts. So by having obsessive thoughts, their anxiety rises, and then they do the behavior that they don't want to do, the compulsions, and that anxiety lowers. And that's why they're trapped in the cycle of anxiety, ritual, lowering anxiety. That's why they're trapped, because they believe that if they don't do their little rituals, their little compulsions, that their anxiety is going to go even higher. So they rather do the compulsions than to have higher anxiety. Okay, so that's what happens. Also, individuals with OCD, they understand most of the times that what they're doing, it doesn't really make any sense. Okay, but they rather do it than not do it and suffer the consequences if something really happens to them. So the brain is very twisted in that aspect, because they know, they understand that they don't need to, like do the light, flick the lights 20 times in order to have a good day. But they rather do it so they don't get trapped into a bad day, supposedly. So if you understand that, I think you will have a greater compassion with people with OCD. Also, they're usually very orderly. They want things in a certain order. They want things in a certain way. So they feel better about themselves, because maybe in their childhood it was a huge mess for them emotionally. So they want to make their lives in a certain order. So let's work on having compassion for people with OCD. And if you think you are suffering from OCD, please look for help. Follow me on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. I usually post a bunch of materials that could be helpful for you. Also share and subscribe to the channel. I'm very interested in knowing what you think and what your comments are. So if you have any comments, please leave it down below. I'll see you next time.